Very good. Straight away today. You know what? It might be blowing. I'm hoping it's not coming through too much because it's so hot. It's 9 o'clock. The mercury is already at 35, and it is so hot today and yesterday. Today's actually hotter than yesterday. And, to be honest, I just hate summer. I hate summer. Am I allowed to say that? Oh God. Oh, I respect what it is, and I love the earth, and I know she's going through her cycles. But these kind of temperatures are so hard, not only on me and everybody, but the animals. Like, I have been up since 5:30. I was up at 5. I've been out since 5:30, watering all my poor little plants that have already copped a beating from from this heat, and it's not even, I mean, well, actually, yesterday was very hot, but today, like we're talking like 40 degrees Celsius. It's so damn hot. And I'm so sick of, I'm getting so much junk mail. It just drives me mad. So I'm closing this for a minute. I don't know why. Something called Black Friday. I don't even know what that is, but whatever. Um, so, you know what? Just summertime is so hard. It's so hard. I have to sleep with air conditioning on. I mean, I don't have to, but otherwise, I don't sleep. I'm uncomfortable. I'm sweating in my bed. Every night I go to bed with wet hair, so I rinse out my hair. I don't wash it every night. Um, so I'm cool when I sleep. Last night was the first night that I actually had to put the fan on for the chickens in their house because even at 8:30 at night, it was so hot and there was no air movement, no wind. I mean, this is the contradiction is that I live in such a windy place, but in this summertime, we've hardly had any wind. I don't know what's going on, but it was so hot for them last night, and I couldn't bear to. I could already see their beaks are wide open, their wings are out, they're just flustered, hot chooks, and so I couldn't bear to shut the door, even though I had wet the entire door to help generate some cool air when the wind did pass through. There was no wind. And there was a slight breeze coming in from the opposite direction where the wind never comes from. So I wasn't going to leave them in there sweltering with the door closed, and they'd just been out playing, they had eaten, so they were hot, and it just would have been cruel shutting the door in a hot shed with poor hot chooks. So I end up going in and getting the fan and turning the fan on for them for a couple hours until 10 o'clock, until I almost was ready for bed, just to have some air circulating for them. And I went in there and I just, had my little torch thing in the dark, and they're all facing the fan, so you can see how much I love that fan. And it's just, summer is cruel. All the hard work I've put in, like so many young plants have died, cuttings that I've had have died, my roses that I've bought, so I've probably lost about $300 to $350 worth of roses already. My date palms are doing amazing. It's hard. Summer is so hard, and it's brutal. This kind of heat is brutal. It's not like English summer. It's not like Irish summer. It's not like Northern European summer. It is such a hard, dry heat here in Australia, and like this is what I have been preparing for all through the winter is this heat, and it's come so early, much earlier than I thought, but it's here. So I don't like summer. If I can be completely honest with you, I hate it. I hate it, and I would be much happier without it, because it's nonstop. I'm up at early in the mornings to water. or I am out as the sun is setting because it is just too hot to be standing out there. When the sun is setting, it's like 20 past 8 at night. I've got 1 hour of darkness and it's time for bed. Like, hate the summer. So, you know, this is what this video is all about. Is talking about the pros and cons of owning your own land, choosing location, and knowing what you are in for. And as I explained on a little Instagram post last week or a few days ago, everybody wants to see the end result. Everybody wants to see the pretty, colorful end result type pictures. Well, let me tell you, life on the land is not like that. And most people don't understand how much work goes into creating something like this. I mean, sure, I could leave everything as it is and have nothing at all, just have dust like the people did before me. I've got a whole list of pictures I'm going to show you before and after of what I've done on my property so far. So for those of you that are looking at purchasing property, knowing where, location is everything. Location is everything, but knowing where you're going to go, knowing your environment, knowing your soil conditions, and knowing your climate zone, what types of plants you can grow in your area. You will learn pretty quick, if you are a gardener, what will work in your area and what will not. I know in England, for example, no stone fruit grows there, or barely, unless you have some kind of a hothouse or something that generates a heat hot enough to grow stone fruit, but it doesn't grow. Whereas here, stone fruit thrives. I have the most delicious peaches, which you all know about. So it's knowing your environment. And silly me, I've left my list up on the table. I need to go and get it. Hold on. Just so I don't miss anything. Right. So, hello everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I know I'm very sporadic with these things, but you know me. This is me, intuitive. Hello, freely burning, pumped for the golden age. Black Friday is an informal holiday marking the beginning of Christmas shopping season. Oh, just what we need. The day after Thanksgiving, where we're supposed to focus on what we're thankful for already having. Ah, what a contradiction. It's so ironic. Hi, Amanda. Oh, girl, I feel you. I know that LA summer. I lived in East Hollywood, the seedy part of East Hollywood, in summer 1 year, and I had no money at that time. I'm so broke, and oh man, it was just hard. At least here, it's fresh air and it's crisp and it's clean. But LA, oh my gosh, that was hard. I understand it. Hi Gary. Hi Nathan. So anyway, here's my little list. But first, before I get into this list, I want to show you some progress. Now, of course, whoops, oh no, what have I done? Am I still here? Right. I'm just trying to navigate my way around this setup here. Let me just get my toes out. So, see my air conditioner blowing there? Whoops. Yeah. So that's a luxury for me, is having, it's not the best air conditioning, but it takes the heat off. And I've just kicked my chickens outside. They don't want to be outside because they are hot. They're already hot, and it was very difficult for me to get Erithe out. She did not want to go. I'll bring them back in later. They'll sit in here for a couple of hours. The only downside to that is, yes, they do shit, and they're not, you can get really bad ones, but theirs is not too bad because their diets are very clean. However, this is farm life. You have to clean chicken shit. They're a bit like having kids. You've got to clean up after them. So So that's what today is. Because I don't want them outside, and I saw how hot and how much they were struggling yesterday, and today is like 5 degrees hotter. And I don't want them to struggle. So they are spoiled chooks because I feel sorry for all the other animals. I even put out water bowls for Mama Kangaroo and baby Joey yesterday because I could see that they were digging holes to stay cool in the moisture in the holes, but I doubt there was much moisture there at all. So let me show you some before and after pictures. So I've had El Noor Gardens. El Noor means the light in Arabic, just for those of you that don't know. And I bought this place in early 2018, just after my birthday in January. And you know what? I want to clear this up because I got an email. I got an email sent to me from some fantastic chap who basically said to me that I've never done anything in my life and that a sugar daddy paid for this place for me. And basically everything was done. Well, you know what? You have no idea, first of all. So I don't know what people have an impression of, but when someone came at me like that, I'm like, fucker, you have no idea. Truly, you have no idea. First of all, I don't have to justify or explain anything of how I got this place, but just so you know, I did get a mortgage for this place and I am paying a mortgage back. And the biggest thing about this place, why I could afford 2 acres and two, like I've got this schoolhouse here and I've got the shop. And the shop, it's an old, like built in the early 1800s. And the reason I could afford this is because nobody wants to live out where I am. I'm so remote. I'm so isolated. And so that's one of my tips to you guys is never buy above your means. Don't buy something that you cannot afford to pay back or that you have to strain yourself to pay back every month. Never go above your means. And I would much prefer to take a dilapidated, derelict, cheap property and do it up as opposed to getting a new $1 million home where it's already done and each to their own. But so when this person came at me like this, I'm just like, truly, you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea how hard I work out here. I've done it all on my own back, except for my dad coming out here once with the tractor to turn over the land one time. Like, people have no idea. People have no idea. So, it's comical that someone would say this to me. And even if I did have a sugar daddy, let's just say, hypothetically I did, what fucking business is it of yours? None. So, you know what? That is just judgment with a capital J, and even it's none of your business where I get my money, how I get my money, where my money comes from, what business of it is it of yours? That is just such poor etiquette, such poor management. That's one thing that is just out of bounds, is asking people. It's just the worst thing someone could ask is, where do you get your money from? That's just, unless they're like your best friend or whatever, and you talk about that. But with someone that you don't really know, that is going to be the poorest behavior. And even, doesn't matter where I get my money, even if it's a sugar daddy. Like, what business is it of yours? And there's nothing wrong with that. That is just subjective perspective. Everyone's always going to form their own opinion. And again, each situation is neutral. And you can decide what judgment or opinion you give that. But you know what? It's nobody's place. It's nobody's place. When it comes to money, it's nobody's place to ask anyone where their money comes from. But when this guy came at me like that, I don't know. He must have had a thorn in his side about me. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know where this came from, but it was just so funny because I just think you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. Anyway, so that was quite funny. But first of all, that is one of my tips, is to never buy above your means, because believe me, it will be so hard to pay back, and all you'll be thinking about is your next payment to the banks, and it's tough. I've just got a text. Oh, it's from my mother. I'll answer her later. So can I share with you some before and after pictures of my progress so far? Um, so let me see here. I've got a couple. So I want to share with you my garden before right now and my garden after. So here is a before picture. These were the only plants that were in my yard. And you know what? I actually had a look at the other side of this picture, which I'll show you in a minute. Um, and there was a big tree, and for some reason that was gone when I actually bought the picture, and I only noticed that the other day. But this pink, poor old pink geranium was the only thing, this lavandula, and this bay tree. And I think down there is like a pig face, like a little pig face. There was no stonework. I did all those stone walls off my own sweat and tears. So that's how it was before. Here's another before. Okay, so all these ugly tires. Oh my God, you guys. This was such an arsehole job to get rid of. I must have had about 50 tires that these people had accumulated and kept. And they're all out here, like to the left, sorry, to the right of the screen. That was actually in the contract for them to get rid of, and they never did. Now there's a beautiful stone wall that I built there. So and there's a dead tree that actually my father did help me with the tractor to get that out. But this one, the one to the right, that beautiful green one, I have no idea. I don't know where that went, but that was not there when I got the property. And let's see, is there any other here? Oh yes, there's another. So that just shows you what is there. That beautiful big peach tree in the right, that's not my car. They were the previous owners before. You can see their big caravan up there. And now the garden after. Okay, that's a close-up. So that's of my roses, what I've done there. That's the David Austin rose bed. So a bit of color, because where these roses are, this was just dirt. It was just dirt and prickles. Oh, there's erythay. So you can see the difference it makes with a little bit of garden. That there's the swing up there. I mean, this is all kind of ornamental and cosmetic, but oh, look, I love a garden. Garden after. Just trying to see where there are some more garden after here. Oh, another rose one. Sorry. I've got plenty of roses. I think this must be another. Oh yes, more roses. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with the roses. Whoops. I was going to move that, but I think I'll just leave it. I actually had a slideshow that I wanted to put on with the before and after, but for some reason, I don't know how to put it up on here. Maybe I'll actually do a collage of before and after. I'm not sure yet. I'll have a think about it. So in terms of, obviously, you know, with the garden, knowing your soil, knowing your environment, and obviously knowing your climate. Let me just put that here for a second. Like, I know now what I can grow here and what I cannot grow here. So basically I am kind of limited to olive trees, rosemary, lavender, hardy, tough, drought tolerant, extreme weather adaptive plants. Roses do fantastic here, date palms, stone fruit. My sweet peas did okay. They didn't grow as big as I thought they would. In fact, I don't even know if I have them here. Maybe I do, but I might have got rid of that. Did I put them up here? No, that's That's the roses. They didn't grow as tall as I wanted them. Um, Gosh, what else? Tomatoes do very well here. Geranium. I never liked geranium when I first came here, but believe me, when you don't see green for so long, you begin to fall in love with it, and I really do love it now. And there's so many varieties, and geranium is one of the plants that has never let me down. It's always green. It's always flowering. It's got beautiful bright red flowers, or pink, or double color, or purple. If you've ever seen geranium, I've got so much of it in my yard that I've you basically just either cut or snap a piece off, stick it in the ground, but don't do it in the summer. Do it in the winter, and just let it go, and um, and just wait, and just give it some time, and you'll see the difference. So that's the before and after of my garden. And obviously, a lot of you know that I'm in the process of uh, growing date palms and growing roses throughout the entire 2 acres of my property. And it's just taken so much effort, and I'm not even a quarter way done. Um, Roses are so expensive. They range from anywhere from $18 to $35 for a bare root. Potted roses are so much more, and I'm on a budget. I'm on a budget. I work for myself, so I have to be careful with how much money I spend on these things. And then, of course, if they die, like they have already, I mean, it's inevitable. Not every plant is going to adapt, but it's still money. That's money wasted. Um, so, like it's because, and then obviously with the date palms, a lot of you know that I went down to the southeast of South Australia to buy mother stock date palms. And at that time, in late 2017, they were $180 each. We are in 2020, almost 2021. They for sure would be so much more than that now. That is so out of my budget, and that was a few $1,000s. So I thought to myself, what can I do instead? I want date palms, and I want a lot of them. What do? Give Mother Nature a chance and grow them from seed. Okay, you don't know if they're going to be with the progenies, you don't know if they're male or female. They need to be manually pollinated. You won't know unless in a few years if they are male or female. Um, but give them time, and you will see how fantastic they are growing, and they love this environment. But I will say, my work is cut out for me now in the summer with these younger plants because they need water. They need a good deep soaking, and even though I set up my irrigation, it's not enough because I've covered them with sawdust, which stops the evaporation, keeps them cool, and allows the microbial elements of the earth to get in there and aerate and feed the ground, feed the soil. They need a deep watering with a hose. So I'm out there 3 times a week with this 100-meter hose, which, let me tell you, it is a workout moving that thing around. And I'm out there giving each date palm a deep watering for, like 20 seconds each. So I would speculate now I have between, I planted over 100. Some have died. Some I pulled up by accident, pulling out weeds. That was my mistake. Never do that again. I would speculate, I haven't counted, I would speculate I have between 85 and 105. Or it could be 80 and whatever. It's somewhere around that number. But most have survived. I would say it's about an 85% success rate with those. My peach cuttings, however, the ones that I had germinated from my old peach tree, I've only counted about 7 or 8 out of about 60 or 70 or 80 that I've planted by hand. That is my lesson learned. Do not put first year plants, cuttings, out in the soil. No way. No way. You have to propagate them in shade. So that is my mistake learned. Everything's different. Like geraniums, they will be fine, but peaches, I have now learned that doesn't work. It's not effective. There are some that are alive, however, um, the others are not. So, again, that is time and effort that I will be more efficient with next year. Um, Gosh, so so that is a huge thing. Is was affording how to have these date palms, and now that I have bought these seeds and germinated these date palms from seed, I know that there are some varieties of date palms that I have out in my paddock that others don't have in this country. Maybe they do, but I've not heard of them because I know the farm or the company that I bought my mother stock ones from, they're not having some of the varieties that I have. Also, the one up at Alice Springs, the date farm, they don't have some of the varieties. Um, so I feel that's kind of a niche thing, and I'm not all about having because a lot of gardeners or growers would be like, oh, you don't know if that stock is going to be any good. I don't care. I just want shade. I want shade. I want to create a microclimate. And I know with the 15 date palms around my property that are true mother stock, and you can be guaranteed that that is stock from a mother plant, I am guaranteed good fruit with those. Very strong date palms, and I have one male there, and he's going to hopefully maybe even next year I may start seeing some flower for the first time. So I know even with those date palms, that is guaranteeing me a crop of dates, and each date palm can, excuse me, yield anywhere between 70 kilos to over 100 kilos of fruit per season. I've never had a fungal problem. I've never had to put copper sulfate on my dates. I've only fed them a urine fertilizer, which I feed all my plants, and that has been fantastic. My dates are strong. They are hardy. They prick you. Oh my goodness, they hurt. If you've ever got pricked by a frond or they have needles on them, like they're like weapons, like they really hurt. So you need to have good hard gloves, good strong garden gloves when you're dealing with your date palms. So that was the next best thing. If you cannot afford to buy and buy hundreds and hundreds of bare root roses or hundreds and hundreds of date palms, selling them as they are, you have to adapt to your environment and to your conditions. I didn't have that money to spend. I didn't have it, so I thought, right, grow it from seed. That is so affordable. All it takes is time and consistent effort, and if you can do that, you will have what you want. But you just have to be patient. And believe me, there are some days where I just wish everything would be so green and lush and tall. But the reality is that, especially date palms, they take so long to grow. But once they are established, they will produce shade for hundreds of years. So I need to curb my impatienceness. That's not even a word. But I need to curb my enthusiasm. I need to curb my enthusiasm and allow Mother Nature to do her job and allow my date palms the proper care and nurturing they need, because that will basically determine their health in the future. So I need to be patient. I need to be patient because especially now, all I want is shade. I feel so blessed to have this huge Aleppo pine outside that gives so much shade for so many animals, birds, insects. Mrs. Fox is around, my chickens. It's just so much shade. And for me, I love nothing more than when the sun is setting. It's kind of partially shady under that tree, and I'm under there dealing with my cuttings and my seedlings, and that tree is giving shade for my seedlings that I have out there right now. So that's all I want. I just want shade on this place, and it is beyond me how the people before me did not. That's like the first thing to do is plant trees. I feel like it's the first thing to do when you buy a place is start making a garden. But just some people are not. They're not garden minded, and they just don't think like that. I know even with my mother and dad, like my mother and father, with my dad, that's the first thing they did. Even before their house was finished being built, they had already put in fruit trees even before the house was finished. Um, and now that they have so much beautiful big fruit trees and shade trees, I just want shade. I want shade. I want a microclimate. I want to create, you know, when you have shade trees, when you have fruit trees, stone fruit trees, date palms, they create a canopy, the top canopy for a you're creating your own microclimate, and basically they act as the canopy for the rest of the plants to grow underneath and to shade them. So you can intercrop them with other fruit trees or other roses, but or anything. But and don't be afraid of planting things together. I've by accident I've actually got some apricots that have come up right next to the date palms that I've planted. I think a seed must have just got caught. I've thrown the seed in the soil with the date palm unknowingly, and now I've got like two of them where there is an apricot tree like this big coming out of the little milk container of next to the date palm. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Mother Earth will sort that out. Mother Nature will take care of that. I am not going to pull out or even get involved with that. I'm just going to leave it, and nature will work itself out. So you've got to be graceful when it comes to things like that, and give some grace, give a wavering time for nature. We don't have to get involved, we don't have to intervene. Mother Nature knows what she's doing, and just to go on that faith alone that it can work itself out. So before I get into some more before and after pictures of my interior, as in right here, which is still unfinished, obviously, I just want to check in here with you guys. Hello, everybody. Okay. Let me, sorry, I've just missed a whole bunch of messages. Hi, Sarah and April. Hi there. Yeah, wow. So triple digit heat. So I'm thinking, what is it? If it's 40 degrees Celsius, what is it, like 110, 115 Fahrenheit? It's like that, girl. I feel you. I feel that heat. That's what it's going to be like here today. And I'm lucky. It's not even. I mean, obviously that's hot, but where I was up in the desert before, it's going to be at least 5 or 6 degrees hotter than that. Just brutal. And do you know what? just just because I know, and because a couple of my friends are working up on it, on this movie. There is actually a movie with Zac Efron being made in this country, and they are basically like a half an hour, 40-minute drive where I used to live in the desert. That those poor actors, those people from the city. I mean, I'm assuming Zac is from Hollywood or lives in I don't know where, but they're not used to this kind of heat. And there are a lot of these actors that are there. They are going to die in that heat. And they're not even under shade. They're on a clay pan. They're on like a plateau. Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel sorry for him. It's just going to be so brutal. It's one thing growing up with that kind of heat and being around that. But for people that are not used to it and they're so isolated, and it's just so hot, like there's no shade. I mean, even if they were in the desert and they were in a creek, I mean, at least there's there's trees and some shade. They are out on a clay pan, on a plateau. Oh my God. I mean, of course it's even hot for us, but Oh, for people that are just not used to this, I feel sorry for them. Oh gosh, it'd be so hot. Hi, Gary. Yeah. Um. Oh, look, they are. All of these national holidays are occult as fuck. It's spooky when you really put in the research. Oh, it is. Look, I I don't even celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate these. It's so brainwashed, so conditioned. It's nuts. I only celebrate because I've got smaller family members. It brings our family together, and if anything, it's a good time to get together with family. But even when I lived in the Middle East, I didn't celebrate Christmas. Sarah says, I have 2 more years and I will be as far out as I can get. Once my daughter finishes school, I am on my way. Hope I find a place as beautiful as yours. Oh, thank you. Well, honey, let me tell you, my place isn't looking as beautiful now because it is just ripping with heat. It is so hot and it's hard. I just can't wait for these big, shady, drought tolerant trees like my dates and olives and stone fruit to just be canopies for all the little plants that are struggling. Yes. You know what? The age of air will be a welcoming change. However, let me tell you, if you think this corona pandemic, whatever you want to call it, is a big deal, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is a precursor of what's to come. And I've said, you got to put your big pants on because it's coming. It's coming, and it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more challenging. It's going to be a lot more chaotic before it gets more peaceful. So you have got to put in the effort now to put all your ducks in a row. Sort yourself out. Don't be so dependable on the system with money, with electricity, especially with water. How much have I gone on about this water thing? Like there is a big reason for that. But this COVID thing, this scam, this thing, this massive big performance that it was this year, this is nothing. This is nothing. So please get your necessities and essential things together. It's the most critical time, the most important pivotal time. So be ready. Um, you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe in this pandemic. You can believe in this virus. But you know what? The whole thing is based on such a fear mongering campaign. We have lived for thousands of years as humans with viruses, and the virus is not the issue here. It's the control and the mechanisms behind that are pulling the strings that are the problem. This is, believe me, we have the know-how, the technology, we have the resources to control something like this. If it was, let's just say if it was in existence, or like Ebola, we have the means to shut it down and never come back. But we will never see that type of technology or that type of movement with our people in power because they want this to happen. They want the collapse. They want this to happen. So this is why I'm saying be prepared. Be prepared. This is a precursor. Um, you don't have to believe a word I say, but just do your research. Open your eyes. Don't sit in front of the news and listen to what's coming out. When has our government, told us the truth? When? I don't think ever. I don't think ever. Like, why would you start believing them now? And it's constant, constant, constant. in your face. They want you to see this. COVID, 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 COVID. Be safe, be safe, be safe. It has just, it has completely just, just shown, you know, how subservient the human race is. Like, so quick, it's just spun. And now you can't have another opinion, or at least, you know, typically speaking, you can't have another opinion because it's like religion now. If you have a if you have a differing opinion about this whole thing, you are ostracized, you are looked down on, you're frowned on. They think you're queer, they think you're crazy. How could you not believe that this exists? Are you crazy? People are dying. They are dying, but they're dying every day. They always have been. But they're dying of something else. And now, this coat hanger of COVID is just hanging in the wake of everyday living. It is here, and it's used as a scapegoat. And all I've ever said is just do your research. And if you think the government is telling you the truth, then you're wrong about that. I mean, look, for example, Dreamland. I don't want to get into this here, but just quickly, Dreamland. Why do you think it's called Dreamland? Has anyone ever thought why this base in the US is called Dreamland? It's because there are alien beings that have a sanctuary out there. They're in their own protected area where no one can enter. Hardly anyone knows about it unless they're at a general level, with the tall whites that have been there forever. Well, not forever, but I mean, they have an agreement with the US government to come and go from this one area called Dreamland. Even the Greys have their own sanctioned area of these bases. This is Area 54, not Area 51. Listen to Charles Hall, the, what is he, a nuclear engineer or nuclear physicist? He was a weatherman that took weather readings out at, what is it called? Indian Springs. This has been going on. So, this is deceit. This is a lie. This is a lie. Anyway, let me focus on talking about this. I mean, obviously that's a very pertinent subject, obviously what's happening, but people are so sick of hearing about it now, so sick of hearing about, I'm so sick of hearing it, listening to it. Obviously I don't even listen to the news, but I hear it from everybody else. I don't think there has been a day in the last year or since this began that I have not heard the damn word COVID or seen the word COVID. I am over it. I'm over it. And there's oh, look, let's just take a deep breath. I don't even want to get into it. But you know what I mean? If there's anything to take away from this, open your eyes, do your research, and don't shoot down the messenger for giving you a different perspective or giving you a different opinion. That's the problem. It's like religion now, and I almost feel like, I mean, even though I am a pagan, someone that lives on the land and lives in accordance with Mother Earth, an alchemist, I feel like it's almost indicative of back in the times of when, if you were a pagan and you didn't believe in Catholicism or Christianity back in the medieval times, your head was on a chopping block. Pagans were almost like an infidel, like you are ostracized, pagans. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like that now with COVID. If you don't believe in COVID, you are on the wayside. You are crazy, heretic. God, it's crazy. Anyway, let's keep going. I don't want to get into it. Hi, Joey. Joey says here, I had a sugar daddy, but he locked his credit card. Oh, gosh, crazy. Hi, Max. Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. Hi, Gloria. Hi, Margaret. Oh, thank you so much. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here on the live stream. Hi, Feral Gal. Oh, good. COVID, the new religion. Freely burning's written long live heresy. Okay, so let me get into some more before and after pictures. Now, this is kind of like the interior of my place here. Um, and I've always said, like beauty is important. Beauty, but I'm not talking about, just physical beauty, which is another brainwashing thing. Beauty, we should live in beauty, and even a rose believes in beauty and loves itself. And that's why flowers are so beautiful. That's why nature is so beautiful. It's because they love themselves, and they're not pleasing to the eye because of us, but they're pleasing to the eye because they are believing in their full potential, and they become their full potential. And that's so inspiring to me. And beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder. And I believe, as human beings, becoming more attuned to living in with nature, because we are a part of that nature, we also must live in beauty. Beauty to me is being surrounded by beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, beautiful surroundings. And you know there is so much energy behind that, of living in a beautiful space. It's like a sacred space in many ways, even though I haven't finished what I'm doing here, which you can see a little bit behind me. um, it's so important to beautify your life and beautify your home. So when you open the door, that energy is just, oh, you feel so good. You can shut the world out. You're in your sacred space. It's like you're in a different reality, because you really are in a different reality. You are conditioning the energetic matrix all the time, but in particular, when you spend so much time in one area, like your home, in your living environment, you are basically having a concentration, an accumulation of energy. And obviously, it can work both ways. If your home is so unkept, and it's not nice, and it's messy, and it's disorganized, and there's bright, them UV lights on, and I don't know, like mold all in the walls, like that's not a clean, energetically speaking. Obviously, it's not clean physically, but it's not a clean place to live energetically. And your home should be like your sacred space, and it should reflect yourself, and reflect what you believe in, and reflect who you are, um, in every way, and not waiting for a better place to make that happen for you. I was like this with my place for a while, thinking, oh, should I really invest all the time and effort into this? Not the shop, but the schoolhouse, because it's so old, so rackety, and I always had the intention maybe of getting it shifted and building something else, but that was just unrealistic at the time. It's so expensive, and then obviously to build, like, so much time and effort, and it just wasn't realistic. So I thought, you know what? I have to fix this place now, right now. I'm not going anywhere in this place, and these unrealistic goals or ideas that I had, they just, at that time, they were not tangible to me. So I'll show you some before and afters of what I've done in this schoolhouse, and then I'll show you what I've done in my shop. So this was the school. This was actually an old school, 1940s school, 1930s, 1940s. So here is it before. Now I've got a couple here. Oh no, that's the shop. Sorry, I'm going to show you the shop before. So this is how it looked. White walls, everything painted blue. Oh my goodness, you guys, I can't even tell you how hard it was to strip away this paint. Do you know what I've always said about paint? It's like chocolate. No, no, what is it? Oh yeah, it is. It's like chocolate. It doesn't take you long to eat it, but it takes months to get it off. So I've always said that. So that's the shot before, and here is it after. So that's a side view. Let me show you. Let me show you here. So that's a frontal view. So now you can see this. I stripped all that blue paint off everywhere. Oh God, it was such a, I called it the asshole job. This was also taking the render off the wall with a jackhammer on a ladder. That was also a very, very asshole job. That was so bad. So this is my taste. Obviously, I know this is not everybody's taste, but for someone like me, this is my taste. I love beautiful art. I love natural woods, natural stone. I love flowers, dried flowers, and using these in my remedies and in my spell work. You know, like I love antiques. I love old things. Let me just do this one as well. Can I show that at the same time? Let me just, oops, sorry, I'm moving me. Let me try and grab that. Is that going to work? No. Sorry. That one. No. Okay, I'm going to have to do it this way. Shop after. There you go. So you can see the render taken off in the far. It's not really the best shot, but you can see the look that I've gone for and my taste. Let me show you a before and after of the school here, this place. So this is how it looked, and the bed wasn't here. The bed was taken. That bluish table in the background was taken, but everything else was left here. Everything. Oh, guys, can't even imagine how much of a headache it was to try and get rid of this stuff. I had the lounge. I kept the green lounge for a while, but the cupboards in the back, they're that real cheap, flingy kind of chipboard stuff, half fallen apart. I mean, you know what? And they knew that. So the previous owners just left all the shit that they didn't want and couldn't be bothered to get rid of it and move it out. But I did use it for a little bit until it did break. It was just clutter, so much clutter, so much, it was just so unnecessary. So that was a before, and now after, obviously you can see what I'm doing. This is where I'm sitting now on that lounge. That was an antique sofa, 1940s, that was crafted with beautiful copper springs. I got that for a bargain, and I reupholstered, rewebbed that whole lounge. Beautiful French antique sofa of the 1940s, antique desk, antique seat, antique drawers, and instead of having the chalkboard there, I made mirrors. I got a special mirror spray paint and spray painted these windows that were in the shop and attached them. Yeah, I attached them into the wall and did it like that. But obviously it's a work in progress, and you can see a lot of wall fabric. I'm going to have my favorite artwork put all on that as well. So that's one, and then another after shot. Oh, so that's on the other side. Oh, there is, that looks like earthay down there. So there's a little bit of artwork going on here, but I want the walls covered with artwork. So it's busy. Like, I am a maximalist, I'm not a minimalist. And my kitchen is also very dark, and I have stained plywood on the walls. I couldn't find a bathroom shot when I put this together, but you get my look. And I don't categorize my look as anything, but I love antiquity. I love ancient things. I like dark colors, dark interiors. That's just how I roll. I've always liked dark, natural colored interiors, and this blue carpet is hideous. You can see there's a little brown patch. That is my attempt to dye that carpet brown. So what I'm going to actually do when the summer is over is I'm most likely going to rip this blue carpet out, and the only reason I haven't taken it out now or previously is because I didn't want to do it before the summer in case there are any more holes that I don't know about. So it's good for now, and that is a job hopefully by next year. So what else have I got? Have I got anything else here? Oh yes, well then also there is another job that I am working on, which is the cellar. Shop before, I thought I had the cellar. Oh yes, here it is. So here's the cellar before. Now the cellar, I mean, it looks good. I love these beautiful old jarrah posts. The thing is, this whole back wall, there was no back wall. It was crumbling. You can see all the dirt in the background. That was just full of massive pieces of rock and dirt. And that was just a crumbling back wall, and there was absolutely no support. So that was a matter of importance to fix the stonework. And you can see all the stonework. There is it either had this old stuff called pug that was still pretty good in some areas, but most of it had crumbled out, and these rocks were basically just sitting on top of each other, and it just was not sound construction. So I have spent the last couple of summers doing stonework. Don't mind me, I've put my old bed down here, and you can see that back wall. I mean, I was in there every single day, buckets of cement, repointing the stonework, so basically filling all these gaps, cleaning them out, brushing them out, you know, and then refilling them with a lime and sand cement mix. And this was the biggest job, the back one, but the entire cellar is almost complete, and I aim to finish it this summer. It's all my cellar work is done in the summer because it's so hot outside. It is the best. It's the best work to do. So you can kind of see the difference, the before and the cellar before the pointing, and then the after. And then you've got me down here taking more dirt out because I actually found a rock floor underneath. And I don't know if the people before me knew that there was this, under that dirt floor, there is an entire seam of rock. And I don't really know what it is. It's either like a hard salt rock or some kind of hard rock clay rock. I don't know, you know, but it's a rock and it's hard and it's like a seam, and I like it. And obviously it needs some work, but eventually, you know what? I feel like they are alive. I feel like the rocks are alive. I feel I don't really want to seal them. I don't really want to seal them because I want a place that has that direct pure connection to the earth. And obviously, you know, I'm a witch. I'm an alchemist. I am someone that understands the connectivity of us with the earth. And so grounding and earthing when you are doing spell work makes everything 1,000 times more potent. I understand that. So I'm a little reluctant to put a seal or, you know, like a resin, epoxy resin layer on top of that floor. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I'll see. I have to think about it. And if anyone has any suggestions, then please, by all means, send me your suggestions, because I am a novice. And believe me, I am learning as I go along. I have never worked so hard physically in my life. Um, and I've done things that I didn't think I could do. You know, cementing for a start. I didn't know anything about cementing before I bought this place. And I've had to, have a crash course in cementing and then learn to cement my entire cellar. And I've got another cellar that I have been busy cementing as well. Um, I built a veranda. I've cemented stone walls. Like, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. It's crazy, and you will be surprised at your own potential when you give yourself the chance. So this is how it is. But I've got a little list of little tips, and what I have learned from this, and I know it is inspiring to see somebody else doing it, because I'm also inspired by seeing other people developing their land and making their dream home with their own hands and their own blood and sweat and tears. But it's hard work. It is hard work, and you have to commit. If you want to see it through, you have to commit, and it's every day. And the results are worth it, though. Even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm getting the encouragement by seeing plants grow. I'm getting encouragement by seeing my cellar almost completed and looking and thinking, shit, I did that. I did that. I did all that cementing. I did all that. It makes you feel good, and it gives you enthusiasm and inspires you to keep going. And the method to my success, or at least the progression of my success, is small jobs every day. I know you've got the end result here, but you've got to do small jobs towards that end goal every day, or be consistent with your effort. It's the small goals, it's the small little jobs every day that allow you to see the bigger picture unfold right in front of your face. So that's the big thing, because otherwise it's overwhelming. When I think of everything that I have to do here still, I'm just like, oh my goodness, ay. It's too much. It's too much. So just take a deep breath every day, every day. Do something. Do something. Some days I work harder than others. And now that it's summertime, I'm doing a lot of indoor work here. And I'm using the air conditioner, which I don't like, but look, I've got that and I'm using that today, so I feel a little bit luxurious to have air conditioning. But later I will do cellar work. I will be down in the cellar, shoveling, picking out this dirt and carefully removing it. I've got a big brush down there. I've got a couple of brushes that I use to get the dirt out. Bucket by bucket, carting those buckets upstairs, putting them in wheelbarrows, pushing the wheelbarrows out and dumping the dirt. And this is how it is. And then I bought a kind of a cheap basic. It's a basic one, that's why it's cheap. A basic vacuum cleaner, but it's for picking up dust and particles and things like that. It's not a regular type of in-house vacuum cleaner. It was only cheap, and I made the gamble of buying it because sometimes now when you buy cheap things, they don't work necessarily, but this is actually really good and it works. So I have then, after I brush it out, I want to get all the dust out and vacuuming it up. And I want a clean floor. I don't want dust. And it just looks tidy. It looks tidy. So, yeah, where are we? Let me just check in with you guys. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Sitting Duck. Yeah, that's right. Hi, Richard. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad I found you again. I miss your old channel so much, but glad to be with you again. Oh, thank you. Yeah, obviously, a lot of people know that YouTube booted me from the platform, but I'm back. Can't get rid of me so easily. Yeah. Oh, look, the difference is night and day. Ah. How Freely Burning says, how did you transfer the paintings onto those panels? Yes. I yeah, like I got canvas prints. You can choose. I was flipping whether it would be fabric or canvas or vinyl. Um, it all depends on what you're going to be putting it on. But yes, I just got some prints. I had to fit them in, like mount them up on there, and then I was actually going to varnish over them, but I don't think I need to do it. They have withstood so far, but in the winter it gets very moist. Like there's a lot of moisture in this area, so I'm not feeling it now, and it seems seems like somewhere far away, but it is actually very moist in the winter. So I may have to seal them. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's just a bit of creativity, and I like pretty things. I like a beautiful space. So having my favorite artwork. So every day when I walk into the shop, I see my favorite artwork. I don't want to have it rolled up. I don't want to have them hiding, like or thinking I'm going to put some up. I want to see it and I want it up. So that was some effort doing that whole bench, and I really wanted to maintain the integrity of what it was originally, because those people came in and just painted everything blue without a thought, without a care of that old shop bench. You got to remember this was an old shop that that it used to be, and so many hands, so many people have have touched that bench and have used that bench, and so many shopkeepers and general managers. And actually, something really funny, I was so kind of blown away by it. I just one day I had stopped for a few seconds on the stairs. I've got a trap door going down into the cellar, because obviously, when you've got a shop, you need easy access to cellar things, because you've got perishable goods. Back in those olden days, they didn't have fridges. So anyway, I was standing on the steps a while ago, and I noticed some scribble on the back of the trapdoor, and I could see all this little graffiti in lead pencil, and I'm really reading it. I'm really trying to read it, and I end up seeing a name, a girl's name, saying, "Hello, my name is Faye Buttrose, and today is," and she wrote the date, and the date said something like 10 3 1934, or it might have been 3/10 1934. 1934! And it wasn't just regular quick little script. This was beautiful, how they used to write, how they were taught to write, that beautiful cursive English script back in the olden days. And I saw the name, and I'm like, oh my goodness, 1934, some kid has come here, because there was another kid's name. Um, and I've got the old history book of this area, of the families that used to live here. I went and looked up that name. Sure enough, I find this girl, this Faye girl, and she's wearing a little pinafore dress. She was a little girl. That's how I knew she was young. It's because I saw her school picture, like in the 1930s. Oh my gosh! And so there she is. I think that is the girl that was scribbling on the cellar door, and I've just left it because to me that's history, and I don't want to get rid of that. I think that's beautiful. Hi Yanni, thank you so much. Yes, manifestation, turning your dream into a reality. Yeah, it's not easy, but if you have enough passion, and if you can feel, not even see the end result, but feel the end result. It'll work itself out. Yes. Thank you. Hi, Fulia. Hi, Lemon Lime. Gloria Terry, the painting. Yes, actually that's an old painting. Hi, Green Goddess. Thank you. Yes, that's right. The rocks do have an energy. Hi, Tyler. Just tuned in. Thank you. Hi, Margaret. You have done a lot of work pointing the rock walls in the cellar. Yes, it's good to be in contact with Mother Earth. Yeah, that's right. You don't know what you are doing unless you try, and that's exactly the truth. You have to give it a go. Crave dog. She's so hot. Come on. Harmony Angel. Hi, Jeremy. I would love to date Andulairah. Oh my gosh. I don't think you would because yeah, I'm very independent and commitment scares the hell out of me. So maybe you could probably call it a weakness. Commitment scares the hell out of me. And actually, and now let me get into my tips and advice. Um, like everything, obviously, it looks good on camera and I talk about everything and it can be very inspiring and dreamy. But let me say, I have definitely had my challenges and struggles out here. It's very isolating. Um, I've definitely had times of um, feeling a disconnect with my environment and feeling very separated. Um, what else have I had challenges with? Oh, and just because of who I am so, I don't think I'm different, but I'm so different to the norm around here. I am surrounded by people that have been here their whole life, and it's been inherited farmers. I mean, the the culture here is very stiff. It's religious, it's stiff, and it's regimented, and at least it is on the outside. I don't know how people are truly, authentically on the inside, but on the outside, their appearance is very straight laced. Everyone's kind of dresses the same. Everyone loves the same sports. Everyone loves pubs. Um, Whereas I come in and I'm like a black shadow that just blows in from God knows where. And I am completely exotic for this area. Someone completely um, different to them. To me, I'm just being myself. I don't feel different, but different. Do you know what I mean? I'm so different to them. So then, of course, you've got that. You're put in that box immediately. Um, and what else? What else? So my advice is, when you decide to commit to something like this, it really is like a marriage. It is a commitment, and I've struggled with that. Um, because if you followed me before, you will know that I had a very non-committal life before this. I was traveling. I could go anywhere I wanted without feeling like, I've committed to this or I've committed to that place. I could just pack my bags and go. And that's very freeing. But I felt restless and I felt like I needed to have some stability, And I wanted to see my family. I wanted to see my friends. And I wanted to feel, it's hard to live out of a suitcase all the time, or not feel settled. And I wanted that. I will say if you are to have a small piece of land and have animals are also a huge commitment. They are on par with children, or at least mine are. Like they are like children to me. And you can't just go away and forget about your animals and think they can take care of themselves. I'm so empathetic to animals and I can feel them. I can understand them, I communicate with them, and so I'm so empathetic to their needs, and the wellness and the livelihood of my animals that, um, like I put a fan in their shed last night. Nobody else would do that, but I knew they were hot, and you know, like I want to take care of my animals, and if I go out anywhere, I the first thing I think of is my chickens. You know, how long am I going for? I need to put them either in a workshop or they come with me in the car, and I put them perhaps at my parents' house, at my mother's house. If I go away somewhere, I cannot leave them here because Mrs. Fox is here every night. And if you saw my little Instagram post on Andulairah, you'll see Mrs. Fox is very, very comfortable here. And she has been here almost since the start of the year. So there are those challenges, losing animals. We all know what happened to my original two chooks, Aziza and Amina. Well, they got their poor little heads ripped off by Mr. Fox, and he got a bullet. And that whole ordeal was so traumatic for me. It just seems so unfair for Mr. Fox and my chickens. But this is the cycle of life, and although nature is very beautiful, it is so brutal. Nature can be so cruel. It seems cruel to us, but in hindsight, this is the cycle of life on this planet Earth. So living on the land is tough. It's tough, and then you've got the environmental factors, fires. We are in an extreme fire season right now. In fact, I even had a CFS woman come over and notify me saying I need to be prepared for a season of a lot of dry lightning strikes. We've had huge fires last year. There were days where this was completely covered in smoke from down south. We had massive fires in the south of South Australia, Kangaroo Island, if any of you from Australia know about the Kangaroo Island fires, and all that smoke, even though that's like 300-400 kilometers away, that all came back up here. And it was toxic, you know, to have a smoke environment, and it just moves so quick. So you've got that. Earthquakes. I got woken up to an earthquake, a 3.0. Was it 3.5? I can't remember. It was huge, and it frightened the shit out of me. I flew out of my bed. I don't think I've ever flown out of my bed so quick at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I did. I ran outside onto the balcony. And it really gives you a perspective of how small you are in comparison to Mother Earth. And this is why I'm saying, even though everything like this is happening around the planet now, there's so much chaos, there's so much crap, there's so much saturation. Mother Earth is very aware of what is happening, and sometimes allowing yourself to release your worry or harboring fear, sometimes releasing that and just be like, you know what, nothing ever goes unseen or unnoticed. And sometimes Mother Nature can just take care of the lot, and she has done in the past. And you know, we all know the disaster, the beauty and the disaster that Mother Nature can give. So both sides of the coin. So knowing your environment and not buying above your means, I've written down here, understanding your land, and look, you can spend, you're better off to buy a cheaper place because real estate prices are so ridiculous now. It's just inflation, and like I feel sorry for any younger person, like a 18, 19-year-old, even around this area and down south. I just think, how on earth could they ever afford to buy their own place? It's so expensive. Real estate is so expensive in this country. Prices that are absurd. And it just seems like you will be forever paying a lifetime of debt. You don't want that. So buy the cheaper place and do it up. Buy the cheaper land. Buy the degraded barren land and rejuvenate the soil. You know what? When you own land, I've always said that you have to be one of the richest people on the planet, because even though everyone seems to overrate and over value the actual worth of money, what is that at the end of the day? You could have $1 million sitting in your bank. Let's just say you have a vault of $1 million in cash in a vault, and a fire comes along and burns that to center, and it's just burnt. You don't have $1 million anymore. All you have is carbon. You have ash, or you have a lot of plastic, burnt plastic. If you have land, you can grow on land. You can rejuvenate that land, and you can have abundance that is worth so much more than money for years and years and years to come. And when money becomes obsolete, you still have food. You have food you can eat from the tree. Having plants, having trees anchors water into the ground, so you have more moisture in your environment. The more trees you have, you create a microclimate and can help encourage clouds to form, rain to fall. When you own land, you are so rich. You are so rich. I feel like a queen now that I have land. I own the land, yes, okay, on paper, but I don't own it. I don't own anything. Nobody owns anything. We are only custodians on this planet, because Mother Earth can take it just as quickly as she lends it to us. So at the moment, though, I feel like I have more than someone who is financially rich and has no soil. I think soil is going to be such a thing of value. Water and soil and seed. So grow your own seed. I have jars of seed of vegetables that I've planted. I've collected the seed. Seeds to me are so valuable. If we don't have seeds, we have no trees. If we don't have trees, we don't have life. The trees are the lungs of our planet, and I cannot stress the importance of growing trees, growing plants, growing trees. To me, there is nothing more important in life than planting a garden, growing trees. There is nothing more important, nothing. Besides your own health and well-being, but you won't have health and well-being if you don't have good oxygen to breathe. So to me, there is nothing more important than growing trees, because growing trees produces oxygen, and obviously having water, it's more precious than gold. So even now more than ever, that being on the land, I can appreciate this so much more than anything else. And if you get this land, it all sounds good, but you have to be willing to put in the effort. Willing to put in the effort, the work, the blood, sweat, and tears, the swearing, the crying. Oh, look, I have had the full spectrum out here. Truly. Like it, having land and working the land, I have learned more about myself in these 2 years than I ever have. And it brings a lot of things to the surface. It teaches you more about yourself. You push yourself. You push yourself more than you ever have. So there's so much learning on every single level. So it's huge. It's huge. And then if you want to live off the land, if you want to make some kind of monetary exchange, it takes years to sell fruit, to grow fruit. It takes years. I would love to sell some dates eventually, but I won't be selling dates for, a couple of years, maybe 5 years more. It takes time. It takes time for fruit to grow. And it all is dependable on the weather. Again, it's a big gamble, but Um, I think it's a risk you should be willing to take. And I mean, obviously, they take it every year out here, these croppers, but they are not conducive with their land. They use a lot of pesticides out here, a lot of poisons. They are all for profit. They don't really care about the land. All they care about is the money going into their pocket. I can understand that if they have families and things. However, if you do not take care of your land, how can you yield good crops? So, but I know here, this area is very old fashioned. Nothing has changed for maybe 100 years. They use pesticides, and when they use them, I am sick. My God, they are so toxic. But it's easy for them. It's a quick fix. Everyone is about having things fixed here and now, very quick. And people are not willing to put in the effort to rejuvenate. Rejuvenation of land can take years. How can you expect microbial elements to survive pesticides like amine or Roundup? They are so toxic. Anyway, that is how things are done here, except for me. So, goodness gracious. Anyway, I have been talking for, I don't even know, 126, my goodness, a long time. What the hell is going on here? I agree that women should have the right to bare their nipples just like men do. What kind of conversation is this? How do we get there? Hi, Rose. Harmony Angel. Amazing advice and outlook. Thank you so much. Hey, Jupiter. Yes. Yeah. You know what? Hi Pretty says that is so sad. When will we ever learn? You know what? It usually takes catastrophe for us to learn. But you've got to remember, we are humans. We are on a third density planet, moving into fourth. It just seems like I just shake my head. I can't even deal with what's happening in the world right now, because I think if we cannot get it together in this day and age now, we will never, because the same things that ruled people back then are ruling us now, and that is control, power, bowing down to someone or looking up to someone, and money. We still have starving people. We still have people without houses. We still have wars. We still kill each other. Like, you would think we would have it together now. And if we really had a just government, well, the problem is we have so many governments in the world, but if we really had a main just government, I'm not talking about a one world government. I mean, I would love to have a one world, I don't want to say even government, but like, I wish we could have lived on a planet that, you know, has a proper, like, spiritual Lord. Like, I'm not talking about Jesus, because poor Jesus has his word, whatever that was, has been so tarnished by humans over the ages. But I'm talking about if we elected someone purely on their attunement to the universe, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Like 3 or 4 leaders that truly were of another realm, because humans just don't cut it. But, you know, and being a representation of our planet for us. We don't have anyone that is that could do that. So if we had a government where we could just abolish all of this and deal with countries that have so much corruption, like, the planet would be so much better. But, oh, look, it's just, I don't even get into it. I don't think about it, because it's just so consuming. Humans, we are so aggressive. We have created such a conditioning, such a brainwashing, such a system that is so discrepant, that is so separate from source. And what we truly are is that, it would take a catastrophe to unravel it all. And really, really it is. It would be something like that. But we have to make the most of, just because this is all happening around us, it doesn't mean we need to be a part of it. We don't have to be a part of it, and be influenced by it. Obviously, to an extent, we are, because I'm using a computer. I have a cell phone. I have electricity. So to an extent, we are a part of it. But to how much? How much you can filter and live a healthy, peaceful, easy life, simple life. So, so many thoughts, but just know it cannot keep going like this. Can't keep going on like this, and be ready. Be ready, be ready, be ready. And always follow your heart. Allow your heart to be the gauge, to be the needle of your compass. Don't worry about anything else, because at this time, in this day and age, it doesn't matter. It's just crazy. And there's so much we are not being told. There's so many layers to planet Earth. There's so many layers to us. But there is so much more going on that we are not told about. And people waiting for disclosure. I just think, for goodness sake, let it go. It will never happen the way you want it. And if it does, it will be all pre-planned, all staged to the way, these groups of the world want it. Just let it go, for goodness sake. There are just some people online holding out for disclosure. Oh gosh. If you can't work it out by now that the government's been lying to you for a long time, then you'll never work it out. Don't wait for it, because it's almost like an anticlimax now when it comes out, or when the government finally decides to come out with it. Like, people like, whatever. What else has happened today? It'll be such an anticlimax. And it, oh goodness, like, it's just, for anyone to think that we are the only species. Actually, it's something funny that I read, going back to Dreamland, to Area 54 in Indian Springs. It's something funny that the Tall Whites actually had some communication with Charles Hall. And they had said to Charles, like the Tall Whites, these beings, I'm not sure where they're from, but they've been on Earth at this base for a long time. They come in and out. They bring their spacecrafts and ships and things. But they laughed at us, at humans, saying that, look at all the stars out there. How could you possibly think you are alone? That was a joke to them. And here we are getting ostracized for when we say that we believe in life outside of our planet, and how ridiculed we are for doing it. And yet you've got these beings, the Tall Whites, that laugh at us because they think, how could you not believe there is life out there? Look at all the stars. You really think you're alone? Ha ha ha, come on. Oh goodness. Anyway, I know I've kind of deviated, but it's all kind of pertinent. It's all kind of justified, because it all kind of connects. So you have to make the most of what you got here. And if you're not happy with what you got and you really want some land, get the cheapest you can afford. Start small, and believe me, even a quarter acre or even a backyard is enough. Even a balcony, you can do incredible things. Just push your boundaries a little bit and be creative, and don't be scared to try. Let me tell you, no one, don't wait for the rainy day. Don't wait for the special occasion, because no one is going to rescue you. No one is going to save you. You can only save yourself. So don't wait for it. Don't wait for it. Oh, when I get this, or when I meet this dreamy person, or no. It's now. Now, now, now. Don't wait. Don't wait. If you've got the means to move in the direction towards your dreams, then do it. And don't fear anything. Don't fear anything. You're on earth. Are you kidding me? You can't fear anything. You're here. Oh, goodness. Okay. Hi, Mr. C. Hi, Daisy. I've missed a couple things here. Right. Okay. So anyway, I've been on here for a while, and I'm really kind of eager to check on my chickens. I'm sure they want a burst of cool air in here. And yeah, I hope that, these before and after pictures, and my experience of moving through the golden age and creating the life you want to see on every level. But I mean, I'm talking about home things right now, where you want to situate yourself. I hope, it gives you some inspiration to be where you want to be, move where you want to move, and do it, and don't look back, and don't wonder what if. That can stop so many people from moving towards their dreams. You won't know unless you try. So I send you my love and blessings, and may you always, always, always be blessed by the supreme truth and love of the cosmos. Know your sovereignty. Know what you are. Don't fear nothing, and do not be subservient to anybody else. You are so sovereign. I love you guys.